Alright, hello everyone. It's been quite a while since I did a video, but I got some motivation, and now I'm here again. So, I would like to introduce a new series I want to do, and I'd like to call it the Pilgrammed of Meta Mayhem. Now, this series, I want to focus on a part of Pilgrimmed which I think I don't really see a lot. And by the title of the series, you can probably tell it's going to be off meta builds. So, the way this series is going to work is I'm going to grab a random wheel, and I'm going to have every single status effect that we can apply. Okay, not literally, but the ones that matter. And I will see which one it lands on, and from there I will try to make a build fully on that status effect. So, as per usual, let's see what the first one is. Don't give me something bad, give me something nice. It seems like the first one is... Don't be soaked, nope, come on. Okay, shock. So... seems like episode 1 is going to be on the shock element. Now this actually ends up being my favorite element out of all of the ones that Pilgrimmed has to offer, and I simply use it for the fun of it. Now of course shocked means that we should probably look at the weapons that come with shock. So the weapons that come with shock are of course the Gilded Greatsword being the only weapon in the game, with the lightning element being its status. We have the Zap Antenna for the mage users. We've all seen how this has been meta for 5,000 million years. And those are going to be the main weapons we are going to focus on for this video. Starting off with the Gilded Greatsword, first of all, let's talk about how you actually obtain this weapon. Now, to obtain this weapon, you go to Cloud City, you go to Clever, the pirate NPC guy, and he'll simply sell it to you. You'll need 800 gold, a crude club, a zap antenna, and 12 brass. Honestly, it's a pretty solid recipe, nothing too difficult. So it's more of a mid-game weapon, a mid-game greatsword. Now, stats-wise, the Gilded Greatsword has a damage of 30, a range of plus 10, minus 20% end lag, minus 31% swing speed, and of course, an element of lightning with 60% plus knockback. Now, the fact that it's a greatsword, and the fact that it has negative 31% swing speed already makes it quite a fast greatsword. Greatswords tend to be some of the slower swinging weapons. That happens to be a major drawback. But, well, this actually has some pretty good swing speed, especially with the fact that you have minus 20% end lag as well. Even better. Now, you may think that that means that this greatsword is great, but then you look at the damage and you compare it to other greatswords who are going to be doing over 20 to 30 your base, extra base damage, which kind of is a big reason why this greatsword isn't the greatest. It's kind of a lack of damage. Now, these stats, of course, are kind of carried by the fact that this greatsword has a unique critical. And as you'll be able to see, probably on screen right now, the critical summons a bolt of lightning. Of course, you're going to slam down your sword, and you're going to summon a bolt of lightning. Now, as you can probably tell, and sometimes people don't actually get this, but when you use this weapon, the crit is actually 2 different attacks. It's not just the Thunderbolt that does damage. But when you slam your sword, that itself does damage, and that actually is what does most damage. That's going to be doing around 100 damage, I'd say. And the lightning bolt should do around 30 to 50. But, well, it'll inflict shock anyways, and it's quite nice. Now, the shock is not 100% guaranteed, and it is actually not always going to end up proccing 100% of the times. Now, of course, our other weapon is the Zap Antenna. Now, most of you already know this, of course. Zap Antenna is scaling off of intelligence, with a base damage of 48, a cooldown of 0.7, a mana cost of 25, piercing of 50%, of course with the lightning element, a heavy cost of plus 50%, and a startup of 0.5 seconds. Now, of course, this is the Zap Antenna. It's a weapon that most of the Pilgrim community has been familiar with for ages due to its simply strong stats. Now, of course, to obtain this weapon, all you have to do is kill Copper Ants, and it should be quite easy. Now that the stats of these weapons have been looked over, let's move on to actual builds this time. Alright now for the builds, we'll start off with the build for the Gilded Greatsword. I like running a light gem, simply, you're already not going to be doing that much damage, as this is of course an off-meta build, so I don't really want to use the Insignia gem for that reduced damage. Now the first thing we're going to be using is the Copper Ring. Of course, any shot can inflict lasts longer. Corroded Scalpel obviously just free damage and piercing. The Copper Gauntlet is actually an interesting one, and I'll show you guys in a bit. Spark Scale is 100% always going to be used, and the Cactus Fruit is actually our best friend in this case, because it's the only way for us to reliably, without changing weapons, increase our effect. So of course, as you know, when you inflict shock, it's going to do 3 per tick, it's going to last a little while. it's gonna last a good couple seconds. However, if enemies are soaked, which you can do by just standing near them and using your cactus fruit, they're not gonna be taking 10, which is significantly better. It's just way better. And the thing is, every time they're gonna be shocked, you're already gonna be doing that extra 15% damage. It's gonna be great, and it's going to be just simply working pretty well. Now, of course, the cactus fruit is going to be pretty much your survivability. This is going to be the only item that you're actually going to be using that's going to, well, keep you alive. If you were to replace one item here, it would definitely be the copper ring. This, out of everything, is the least required item. Cactus fruit is mandatory because we're focusing on the status effect. This is mandatory for free damage. This is also free damage. And this is a reliable way of getting mana. And, I mean, shock down. Now, the thing is, you may be wondering why I still have my Zap Antenna here. Now, as you know, the Copper Gauntlet increases your melee speed by 20% when you are shocked. Now, this seems useless because there's no real way of inflicting shock on you unless you're hit by, I don't know, big fish. But in this case, you can actually inflict self-shock. So, say I'm fighting and I'm on top of someone's face, I'm on top of an enemy's face, I'll quickly zap myself when they're stunned, and now I have an decently increased attack speed boost, which for these weapons with a lower attack boost are actually very necessary. So, me personally, because I like running Light Gem, I ended up running the Prism Crown, and of course Angry Liar because this weapon scales off of strength. Wonderful Crown, you can probably substitute this for something else, depending on your preference. You can even maybe try, I don't know, just going with the Martial Headband if you want just that extra strength and that extra crit chance. Now, if you move on towards the Zap Antenna build I have, now remember, this is off meta. This is not going to be doing damage. So, we're doing around 74, 90 damage, depending on your status effect, really. Now, of course, we're going to be running the Witch Hat because it increases the status effect you apply on them, meaning the shock is going to be applied for longer. Same thing for the Copper Ring. Diver, because Diver's Diver. Corroded Scalpel is still free damage. Cactus Fruit is still our best friend. And methods of survivability. Spark Skills is a necessity. And the Mana Dissonance, because, well, we're not doing that much damage. So how about we start doing a lot of damage? Why? By just doing more attacks faster. And even though it's not the greatest, it kind of works. Now, as you guys saw, these builds are not going to be the greatest. It's hard to make a build based on these different elements, of course, without ending up compromising your DPS. So, strategies with this is, like I said before, when you're using the Great Sword, you're up in their face, you get a stun on the enemy. That's when you want to apply yourself with shock, so you can actually go crazy with the attack speed. And of course, I know you're like, oh, but shock is gonna stun me, and I'm gonna fail a parry. Well, either that, run focus if you really care that much, or simply live with it. I guarantee you, I've used this build for a good while, and out of all the tries I actually shocked myself, none of them were really affected by the fact that shock just simply inflicts that self-stun. So, it just works. I'd say this is a pretty decent shock build. If you have anything, of course, if you want to modify anything, do whatever. This is the best way that I found that you can really mess around with shock. Now, if I were to change something about this build, what would it be? Like I said, you can replace Copper Ring for, maybe even just the Diamond Ring, just base damage boost. You can also run things like, I guess, the Power Locket. I know it's not something you see every day, but like this weapon tends to be quite slow, it means that your attack opportunities are not going to be the greatest. So I don't know, if you're doing Big Iron and you're fighting one of those bosses, like, I don't know, Magma Turtle, where you're going to be just waiting and parrying for a while, this can at least help you get some damage in. It's not going to be the greatest, but damage is damage. So let's try some Sky Battlegrounds. I'll be honest, in bosses, this weapon is not the greatest. There's a lack of piercing, the damage is already low, so you're just going to be having a hard time on bosses like Granny, which has a dumb high amounts of defense. You're going to be doing like no damage. And also, right, this element is lightning. And even most of you forget, this game actually has a system of functioning super effective types, kind of like Pokemon. And lightning, you're going to be doing 25% more max damage against water enemies. You're going to be doing 30% less to sand enemies, which means King Sandpod is your nightmare. Now, of course, this is not only it's not that bad of a downside, truly, it's not that bad. And of course you're going to be doing less damage to lightning enemies, meaning basically only big fish, as well as a bit of less damage towards magic enemies, being Archmage, and basically, it's just, shock is shock. Have fun, do some things, and by the way, this weapon is actually insanely good for PvP. The lightning bypasses iframes for some odd reason. And, I mean, this game is not PvP focused, but still it's fun. So, let's try some Sky Battlegrounds. As like I said, this weapon is way better in crowd control than in anything else, really. So, let's give it a shot. Alright, let's get this started. Of course, going with Expert, because we are not cowards here. We're giving this weapon a test of the limits. Now, like I was saying, the thing is, with this series, I kind of plan on doing a good couple episodes on it. And after that, I'll just see what I'll do after the series is over. I know I'm saying this while I literally, this is the first episode, of course. And honestly, if you guys have anything you want to say about the series, if you want to say, you know, suggest a status effect, or suggest some kind of build you want to see me make different builds about, specifically the status effect, go for it, leave it down below, I'll consider it, of course, and we'll see if we can do it. Now, before you guys say anything, I'll have to say, some elements have to be excluded, like, there's just nothing I can do about it. And those elements happen to be light and dark, as well as grass and organic, as well as metal. Now, the thing is, these elements have nothing. They don't apply anything in particular, and there's not a single accessory that actually boosts them in any way, shape, or form. So I won't be able to do a video on them. I mean, I wanted to, but when you think of things like the Blood Twin, like the Wicked Limb, and all of the Prism Throw weapons, because those are mostly the light weapons. There's more, but still, they're the most known ones. Those end up being meta weapons. All of the end drops and all of the Prism Throw drops, they're meta. To some extent, they're meta. We have the Prism Lance with its insane mobility, obtaining things and abilities, while we have the Blood Twin and the Wicked Limbs just absurd damage output. Like, their raw damage is really high. And of course, then we have Haunted Sight, which is just, yay, I do 1,000,000 base damage while having some insanely cool accessory. And now I'm meta, because why the hell not? Also, oh my days, you are minuscule. But so, like I said, when you're doing these things with this weapon, you want to make sure that you're doing your close up, so that your crit ends up doing the most amount of damage. But that also means that you have some spacing. You have some spacing capabilities. And I know I showed you guys that you can shock yourself for that extra 20 damage, the Copper Gauntlet proc. But the thing is, it's not that reliable, especially for these enemies, because in here, if you're shocked, then you're gonna feel it. But if you're against a boss, and I don't know, King Satpod, you stun him after you parry him a lot, then sure, that's probably when you want to pop it. And it's situational, but that's gonna happen a lot in this series. A lot of these situational. Oh, okay, wait, one second. Whoa, what the hell? So it's gonna be very situational when you're actually gonna get the Copper Gauntlet things to actually start working. Now, I'm not saying that is going to be bad, but it's going to be really fun when you actually manage to get it to work. Also, what the hell, man? But it's just, it's going to be fun. It's fun. I think it's fun. I like using weapons that end up being off meta. Literally, the main reason I'm doing this series in the first place is because I like using off meta weapons. And the funny thing is, when you're using the Gilded Greatsword, so many people are going to end up asking you, what weapon is that? Or at least it's happened to me when I've used this. A lot of people ask, what weapon are you using? What is that? And of course, I mean, they end up realizing it's probably because of the gem covering, but I just find that it's quite a nice weapon. I'm on a squid. No, I think you might be able. I'll have to check this, but by heart, I'm not exactly sure if Mono Squid is a water enemy, like water element enemy, meaning you're actually going to be doing more damage against it. If it is, then props to that. That's one boss besides Big Fish, who doesn't count because he has, water immunity. And look, right here, when these enemies are stunned, this is when I want to get my attack speed up. I know these enemies have insanely high stun, but, stun is stun. And we take advantage of everything. Oh, slimes. So many slimes. Yelgaroth, I'll be honest, I despise this boss. It's just annoying. There's nothing hard about him, it's just annoying. I just don't like this boss. It's literally, there's no other reason. I just don't like him. Also, yeah, the thing is, because of the Copper Gauntlet, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up basically running out of mana a lot. On enemies that can't be afflicted with status defects, like Granny, for example, that's one boss that can't be affected with status effects, you're going to end up wasting your mana, instantly. Your mana's going to drain because you're going to be running out of mana every single second that you're running. And the issue is that means you can't really do that little tech with the Zap Antenna, which may be counterintuitive because isn't that the whole reason you have it? Well, yes, it is. But do I care? No, not really. This build is supposed to be a little bit random. But hey, it's fun. Also, do these eyes want to get off of me? Oh my days. I'm going to lose my mind. Wow! I mean, hey, that's one way to farm drops, am I right? Wait, which one is the one I'm actually supposed to be fighting? Wait, they're coming back. They're coming back to life. They're coming back to life. Oh, it's you. You little rat. I don't see your health bar. Die. There we go. Alright, now both of you die, please. Please? There we go. Round to millions of years. You know what? I might leave it at that for the Gilded Greatsword, and I'll see how we can do with the Zap Antenna instead. And here we are again. Alright, let's see. So, honestly, regarding the Gilded Greatsword, me personally, because I actually really like it, so there's going to be a good bit of bias here, I'll give it a solid 6. Now, the reason I'm giving you a 6 is because your crowd control abilities are pretty good. Your damage, even though it is suboptimal, your damage isn't too terrible. It's manageable. That's the best way I can put it. It's manageable damage. And the thing is, in Pilgrim, manageable damage is not exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for that big damage. You're looking for that big damage. Which is why most of this is going to be an off-meta series. It could be a meta series. It's just that, well, it isn't because of the fact that these weapons are slow as hell. And as you can see, oh, you know what? I'm running Juggernaut. Why the hell am I running Juggernaut? It's fine. Thank you, Zap Antenna, guys. You meta, no? No. Now, zap. There we go. Nice. See, now that's a pretty decent crowd control. The fact that I actually do... I'm going to be doing more damage per hit with a Zap Antenna. Also because, you know, the base damage of Zap Antenna is like higher by like a factor 18. Not a factor, but just a solid number of 18. But hey, it's not bad. And it's pretty good, I'd say. Oh god. That's all enemies. Which we zap! Thunderbolts! Very cool. Come on. This throw's almost dead. Oh god, ice skull. There we go, zap you. You know, I should really run like Mana Feather with this. It's just that I don't have space because of all the goddamn flipping accessories I have to run to make this build actually shock based. Which, you know, I haven't really been using this as a shock based thing. I've really just been using this as something else. Go, my shock. Wow. Matter of fact, wow, look at that. 8 damage per tick, guys. This is a new Deep Pilgrimmed meta. I was not about to say Deep Pilgrim. Trust. Alright, let's just get this round over with. Also, if they die of shock, they're gonna turn into little skeletons. That's just a nice little detail. Who knows? I've been running out of goddamn mana every 2 seconds. This is, you know, it's part of the challenge. It's part of the challenge. Who needs mana when you can just wait? The act of patience. And matter of fact, let me see. How is this gonna do here? Go, my orbs of lightning! Do me proud! Yes! Shock him! Oh yeah, so I guess the weaker the attack, the less shock I'm going to inflict. Alright. Sandpod. Incident. Oh, hell no. However the hell I pronounce that, I don't know, but I remember that's exactly the goddamn thing that made me suffer with the... I hit nothing. I hit one enemy. One goddamn enemy! No, die. No, oh god. Oh god. Ah! How the hell do mages play this game? As you can probably tell, I'm not a mage user. And I'm very... clearly suffering from whatever the hell this is. Get me away from here. I need this 50% speed. Get me the hell away. Yo. Zap him. I don't know. I killed something. Zap him. Kill everything. The perks of being a vampire. Okay. Kill. Oh god, wait. The urchins. They're infinite. Oh god. I'm significantly struggling because of the fact of mana. I never knew mana was going to be my issue to everything. Zap. Oh, come on. Okay, come on. Zap Antenna? I'm going to need some cooperation. Also, never run this weapon with cursor aimed at body. You're never hitting anything. Please. Zap. Please. Thank you. Now, where's the real urchin? Oh, I see you. You straggler. You thug. Come here. Please, for the love of God. For the love of God. Okay, what am I looking at? This is the Pilgrim. Matter of fact, you know, I see you. I got my eyes on you. Zap. W. Zap. No, please. I beg. Oh God. Please, just get the thank you. Am I seriously have to fight all of these little urchins? Really? Really? Game, don't do this to me, game. Game, please, I beg. Just, oh, come on! No, come on! There you go, I'm gonna just stay next to my orbs now. Surely this works, right? Surely this is a valid strategy. Oh, and they're gone. Oh, come on. Come on, my singular orb. Do me proud. Where are you going? Please. Please. I'm standing still. Come on. Come on. Just die, please, for the love of God. Please. Thank you. You know what? Screw this. You know what? Screw this weapon. Screw this zap antenna. This is way too slow. Like, goddamn. You know what? Okay, look. Truly, you could just run more magic. You could run, like, the Mana Feather. But I didn't. So, you know what? Now, I'll conclude this episode here. In conclusion, Gilded Greatsword is cool. Zap Antenna, I'm literally just gonna shock myself with this, and that's gonna be about it. See ya!